You know, I'm having a hard time deciding which weapon to eviscerate this movie with. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You could probably guess from my intro piece what I think of this movie. But before you take a look at how old I am and immediately dismiss this opinion as being nostalgia because I'm too in love with the 80s cartoon, just a tiny bit of context. Yes, the cartoon and the action figures was my initial introduction. I had a couple, I think maybe 3 VHS sort of collections of episodes. I didn't see a ton of the cartoon, but it piqued my interest enough that I ended up special ordering collected volumes of the original comic books, which honestly, for the age that I was, I probably shouldn't have been reading. And those 4 volumes I read over and over again, and that is the version of the Turtles that I truly love. This version, I don't know why it exists, I don't know who it's for, and I don't know what they're trying to do. First off, it's got the Transformers problem, which is that the title characters are actually not the main heroes of the story. The main hero is April O'Neil, and this is made worse by the fact that she's played by Megan Fox. Not entirely Megan Fox's fault. What is written is crap. She just sort of bumbles her way from scene to scene and then says out loud her revelations of the plot of what's going on, which is stuff we already figured out, and just makes her seem like a bigger idiot for announcing it like it's some big revelation. I think the biggest single misstep is gonna be Shredder. Basically, it's very clear that as originally written, the character of Eric Sachs is supposed to be Shredder, but when fans found that out and called foul, they very hastily crowbarred in this other character to be the Shredder, but that actually kind of makes it worse, because now the Shredder is really just a glorified henchman because Eric Sachs is still the main villain. And addressing him real quickly, his motivation is beyond stupid. The reason he's doing his big evil scheme is to be rich. Basically, he had started a project which was supposed to be a scheme to get him rich. Now that got foiled. He didn't get to do that. Now things have changed and he's able to kickstart that plan again, but he's become rich in the interim already. Like, rich enough that the guy has a compound and a personal army. How much richer does he need to be? It makes no sense. I mean, and that's another thing. This film does not make internal sense. There's a point where Splinter is sort of recounting more of the backstory, but at one point he refers to April's father, who is turned into a scientist who helped in the creation of the Turtles just to tie her into the Turtles because. At one point, Splinter says that her father discovered the plans of the Shredder. Now, he says this before having identified who the Shredder is, how he knows who the Shredder is, why they should be scared of the Shredder, and none of the other people he's telling the story to, which is all 4 Turtles and April, go, wait, who's the Shredder? And that, I think, really comes to the heart of what's wrong with this movie. It's a reboot, which means they get to do new things. But not only do they not do anything new, but then the film tries to have it both ways because it's doing everything new again, but it's giving us stuff that would only have relevance and poignancy if it was in the context of us already knowing and understanding these things. Take, for example, there is a fight between Splinter and Shredder, and it's played in the movie like this is some big epic showdown, except you take it within the context of this film by itself, it's not. These characters have never met before. We don't understand why Splinter knows who the Shredder is. The Shredder has no idea who Splinter is. Here, there's no history, but the film plays it up as if they do. But it's only epic if you take into context everything that came before it, but this movie doesn't count all of that because it's a new continuity. And things like that just happen over and over and over again. Like, the fact that they're even ninjas in this one is a complete coincidence. Because Splinter now, he's just a rat. He's a lab rat. He was never owned by Hamato Yoshi. He just happened to find a book on ninjutsu and raised the Turtles to be that. Yet he's still the same really tuned in sort of Zen mastery thing that he always has been. Except before, it made a tiny bit of sense because he personally had a history and was kind of raised in that culture. Now, he wasn't. He literally just found a book that somebody threw away and suddenly he's Jedi Master of ninjutsu. What? And then coming back to Shredder, not only is there no reason for him to be a separate character from Eric Sachs, there's no reason for him to even be a ninja. He doesn't have that history of sort of being the dark side to Splinter's light side of ninja. No, it's just sheer dumb coincidence. And the fact that he's a ninja factors into absolutely nothing because the Foot Clan aren't ninja. The Foot Clan is a paramilitary outfit. But it's just stuck in there because, well, he's always been a ninja. Well, look, if you're not gonna back it up within the context of your reboot, then you need to drop it. You either need to reestablish this stuff or you don't get to use it. And that's the thing, this film does not have the strength of its own convictions. I think at at the beginning, before little nuggets about the film started coming out and fans started crying foul, they probably had a stronger sense of identity for the film itself. But as fans started to scream about the various things that they were hearing that they didn't like, and the film then adapted and reacted to that, it became this homogenized, well, we gotta be sure we give them all the things they like, but all it does is check off things on a checklist for what are supposed to be in the Turtles, but never bothers to justify their existence in the film or within the story itself. Now, I've spent all this time and I haven't actually talked about the Turtles themselves. I'm not going to talk too much about them physically and the redesign. I don't love it, but that's not what breaks it. What breaks it is they are boiled down to a single trait apiece, and that unto itself wouldn't be a deal breaker because in a lot of ways they've always kind of been single trait characters to a certain extent, but they take that one trait and blow it up to such ridiculous proportions that I hated all of them. Raphael is my dude. This is my favorite turtle. He's been my favorite turtle in every single incarnation of this story. I hated him in this movie because Raphael is the hothead. But here they blow that up so that he delivers every line as an angry shout. I wanted him to just shut up. And they do that with all the turtles. Donatello has always been kind of into technology and a little bit of a geek. So now they up that geek quotient to the point that he wears glasses. He can't deliver a simple line without prefacing it with, by my calculations. They even have him do a snort laugh. And then there's Michelangelo, and apparently somebody decided that his party nature blown up means he really wants to bang April. It's not funny, it's not cute, it's really disturbing. The only one who kind of escapes unscathed is Leonardo, but that's just because he's bland. He's always been bland. How do you up the quotient on bland? You can't. He's still bland. You know, I did everything I could to try and give this film a fair shake, and there are even a couple of scenes that work. Honestly, when they're in the elevator waiting to go up and they start banging out that beat, they start beatboxing, that was awesome. When that showed up in a trailer, I was like, okay, yeah, because that was a good encapsulation of sort of their teenage nature, that they are ninjas and they are fighters and they are intimidating, but they're also impatient. If they're stuck in an elevator, they're gonna find a way to pass the time. Yeah, and that was fun, and it was funny, and it worked. Splinter's first fight scene, not the one he's got with Shredder, but when he's taking on members of the Foot Clan, honestly, really cool fight scene. Really well executed, really well done. And you know, I'm pretty sure there are some people who are gonna say, look, dude, chill out, it was for kids. I reject that argument for two reasons. First of all, the current TV incarnation, that is aimed at kids, and is doing these characters and these stories so much better than this movie does, just objectively. Secondly, this is PG-13. Now, I know a lot of people are gonna say, well, kids love superheroes, they love Iron Man, they love Spider-Man, those are PG-13. Yes, they are, but they're not dumbed down the way that so many films made explicitly for kids are. They are made for the fans of all ages, which includes kids. And if you're gonna defend this film on the basis of it was made for kids, therefore it's allowed to be stupid, nah-uh-uh. If you do that, you don't get to make it PG-13. It should have been PG if that was your goal. It's not. It shouldn't exist, and personally, I'm gonna try and pretend for the rest of my life like it doesn't. If you are a Ninja Turtles fan at all, what is your preferred incarnation of the Ninja Turtles? Is it one of the TV shows? Is it some of the movies? Is it some of the comics? Whatever it is, drop something down in the comments and let's talk about it. Until next time, this council is adjourned.